Now, we already know that the Raiders signed Jimmy Garoppolo to a 3-year deal, and for agency, he is expected to be their starting quarterback for this upcoming season. But there's a rumor circulating around that says that Las Vegas attempted to trade up with the Chicago Bears for the number 1 pick in this year's draft, but the Bears' asking price for it was way too high. The Raiders couldn't make the trade happen, and ultimately Chicago sent the pick to the Carolina Panthers. Now, this tells us a couple of things about how the Raiders feel about their current draft positioning. Either A, they feel like the quarterback prospect that they really want isn't going to be available when it's their turn to pick, or B, they feel like picking 7th overall doesn't put them in the best position to land any of the top quarterback prospects that they really want, rather that be Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, or Anthony Richardson. If the Raiders are looking for a rookie quarterback to sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they should draft Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker. I have him ranked as my 3rd best quarterback in this draft class behind Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. He's accurate with the football. He has a very strong arm. He makes fantastic decisions with the football. His last 2 seasons at Tennessee, he had the best touchdown to interception ratio in all of college football. 58 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. He's a pretty good athlete. He can get outside the pocket, extend plays, buy time for wide receivers to get open. And he also can pick up yards with his legs. I think Hendon Hooker going to the Las Vegas Raiders would be the perfect situation for him. He is coming back from an ACL injury that he suffered late during his final season at Tennessee. If he never suffered that ACL injury, Tennessee probably would have made it into the college football playoffs. He most likely would have won the Heisman Trophy, and he probably still would have been a projected 1st-round pick behind Stroud and Bryce Young. So for the Las Vegas Raiders, if they can draft Hendon Hooker in the 2nd or 3rd round, they're pretty much getting a 1st-round talent at quarterback and day 2, which would be an absolute steal for them. Plus, you're getting a guy who wouldn't have to come in and start right away. You'll give Hendon Hooker some more time to continue to get healthy from that ACL injury. According to some reports out there, he's expected to be ready to participate in football activities by the time training camp rolls around. But even if Hendon Hooker was fully healthy and the Raiders were to draft him, they still wouldn't be able to start him week 1 because it's going to be a little bit of a transitional period for Hendon Hooker going from college football to the NFL, simply for the fact that he played in the air raid style offense during his time playing QB for the Vols. And we already know that the air raid offense doesn't really have a good track record at producing NFL caliber quarterbacks outside of Patrick Mahomes and Gardner Minshew. Those have been the most successful quarterbacks to come from that style of offense. So for Hendon Hooker, going to the Las Vegas Raiders, he will have to sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo for a while as he continues to learn the NFL style offense and tries to get acclimated to the speed of the NFL game. But eventually, if Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured, which there is a high chance of that happening because Jimmy Garoppolo is the definition of fragile luggage. He doesn't really have a great track record of being able to stay available for a full season. And even if Jimmy Garoppolo stays healthy, he may not give you the best quarterback play. So if he struggles, you can end up inserting Hendon Hooker. And the supporting cast around him will be good enough for the Raiders to be able to have success. Hendon Hooker will be throwing to Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, who you just signed, and Thurman Renfro. Then you'll have Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the backfield right behind Hendon Hooker. And you can do so many things with Hendon Hooker. As a matter of fact, you could do more things with Hendon Hooker than you could do with Jimmy Garoppolo. Design quarterback runs, read options, RPOs. Drafting Hendon Hooker would be able to open up your playbook so much more if you're Josh McDaniels. And although I don't think Josh McDaniels is a good head coach, I do think that he is a pretty good offensive mind. So he will be able to design the offense around Hendon Hooker's strengths and be able to have Hendon Hooker ready and be able to succeed in the NFL. So if Las Vegas is looking for a rookie quarterback to sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo for a couple of weeks or maybe a year or two, I think Hendon Hooker would be the perfect pick for him. You don't have to waste the first round selection on him. You get him second, third, maybe the fourth round. He'll be an absolute gem. You already met with him back in February, according to the Draft Network's Ryan Fowler. The Raiders met extensively with Hendon Hooker, so you already have a pretty good amount of familiarity with him. And I just think that Hendon Hooker would be embraced by the Las Vegas Raiders fan base. This is somebody who's a hard worker. He puts a lot of time into his craft. And this guy has all the skills and intangibles that you look for in a potential franchise quarterback. He doesn't have the red flags that Anthony Richardson and Will Levis have. He's pretty sound when it comes to the fundamentals and mechanics. He has good footwork. His throwing motion is pretty compact. I think that Hendon Hooker going to the Raiders would be one of the best draft picks that the Raiders have made in recent memories. But I'm eager to hear you guys' thoughts. Do you guys think the Raiders should draft Hendon Hooker in the 2023 NFL Draft?